This Saturday, millions are expected to join No Kings rallies across the country with more than 3,100 events planned nationwide, including several here in Northeast Wisconsin. Organizers say frustration is driving turnout. This marks the third national No Kings protest since President Donald Trump took office. Samantha Cavalli reports on participants urging leaders to take action and how police are monitoring the rally as it unfolds.
Organizers in Appleton are calling for a peaceful turnout this weekend as a nationwide No Kings protest returns to the Fox Valley with a growing number of participants. With thousands of rallies planned across all 50 states and beyond, organizers expect millions to join what they're calling a major day of action.
In our city streets, overseas, in our pocketbooks, our bank accounts, there's just a lot that is affecting more and more people every time there's a protest.
Here in Appleton, organizers expect thousands to fill the area, prompting street closures and a special events permit that almost didn't happen. Last month, the Safety and Licensing Committee approved the permit, even though it was filed 8 days past the city's 45-day deadline.
Just because it takes time to make all the arrangements, things that people oftentimes don't think about, things like the road closure plans, barricade plans, the public safety components, the staffing.
That delay has created some last-minute challenges, including closing parts of College Avenue for several hours and putting officers on overtime. Police are urging drivers to plan ahead and expect congestion downtown. The protest runs this Saturday at Houdini Plaza from 3 to 5 p.m., along with other protests in Green Bay, Oshkosh, and across the entire country. Reporting in Appleton, Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.